guys, hope you're all doing well. I've had quite a transformative week this week, so obviously I'm going straight in to tell you. Remember I said on my New Year's resolution that I didn't want to get steaming, so I'm fine with drinking, I'm definitely not sober, but my goal was to not get steaming. Well, your gal is sticking to it. I'm really not even finding it hard. I've actually just lost the desire for it anyway. So all well and good, right? But I went out for work drinks the other week, and do you know what I realised is that when you've been a hardcore drinker like myself for most of your life, obviously by hardcore drinker I just mean your gal just likes a good time when she goes out usually, and I'll get really drunk. So if you know me or if you've been out with me, you've definitely got some drunk stories about me. And I think that when you've lived your life like that for so long, it's almost becomes part of your personality. And I always get told I'm fun, I'm a lot of fun. And I think people do sometimes associate that with drinking, because obviously when you have a drink, all your inhibitions go and you're a bit crazy and you're kind of up for anything and all that type of vibe, right? But so it's weird to kind of feel like that's part of your personality. And now that I'm not getting as drunk, I'm like, is that part of my personality going? So I went out for work drinks, and I'm just because it's quite a new job, I'm just you've got no idea what I would be like usually. I'm so sensible now, it's actually crazy. I mean, I still get tipsy, but having said that, the last time I went out for drinks with them for work was when I came back and set the sausage roll on fire in my microwave. And it was so bad, literally there was ash all over my flat. And actually one of the guys came in and he was like, oh, I've learned from last time, never drink with Sadie. He was like, I kept expecting you to fold because there's only 3 of us left, right? 2 guys and me. And when I say these guys are big, one of them especially has got to be about 6'3", big stocky guys, and me, who at the time was also on a hangover, so definitely didn't need much to drink anyway. Who am I to think that I can keep up with these people? But I absolutely did. And that's what he said. He was like, I was kept expecting you to fold. Then every time I'd be saying, right, I'm going to go and get another drink. Do you want one? You say, yeah, I'll have one. Yeah, I'll have one. He said, I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, me either. And yeah, it's all well and good, I can handle it. But can I remember getting home that night? No. And obviously, I set my sausage roll on fire in the microwave. So that's one, so they do know that I've obviously got it in me. But then when I'm there now and I'm not the last to leave, which is never used to be me. I'm usually the last person to leave a party. And I'm not, and I leave, and I mean, it's great. I wake up the next day and I've got no, anxiety and no issues. But I'm like, am I fun? Am I losing part of my personality? Is this what people feel like when they go sober? It's really, really weird. But as I was coming home, actually, when I was coming home, right, this is classic London. I was behind a man and I think his wife, but the wife was dressed up as a dinosaur. I'll have to put a video on Instagram. It was so funny. I was walking behind him and he was holding her hand and walking her through, and she was in a full, massive dinosaur outfit. Absolutely so random, but funny. But anyway, when I was coming home on the tube, this girl came on, right? She was absolutely steaming and she was falling asleep. And I was like, no, you just feel like everything is clicking into place from this night. Because I was already thinking, oh my God, am I fun anymore? Am I still the same person? Having all these deep thoughts. And I got on the tube and this girl came on and she was steaming and she was falling asleep. And I was like, that used to be me. And actually, no judgment to the girl, but I was looking at her and I was thinking, I do not want to be that person anymore. She was falling asleep and she woke up and she asked the woman next to her, where are we? Have we reached where I live? I'm not going to say, let's call it Clapham. Have I reached Clapham yet? And the woman couldn't really understand her. So I was like, I'm going to Clapham, it's fine, come with me. So she came and sat next to me and she couldn't keep her eyes open, bless her. And obviously I know the feeling. And she was trying to talk to me and trying to say she'd been out for work drinks and she was a bit tired. I was like, don't you worry. So anyway, she fell asleep and then I woke her up. I was like, come on, we've got to go. And I was chatting to her and I walked up the stairs and I was like, you make sure you get in an Uber now back. She was like, yeah. So then I walked her to the taxi rank And she's like, thank you so much. We should go for a drink. And I was like, yeah, let's go for a drink. And I was looking at her thinking, we have not exchanged numbers. We're never going to go for a drink together. I'm just going to play along with it and say, yeah, and we'll probably never see each other again. But when that happened, I thought, no, do you know what? I'm in the right decision. I'm making the right decision. I'm becoming a better person because I do not want to be that person that falls asleep. And I know she's going to wake up the next day and be like, I vaguely remember this Welsh girl helping me out, but I can't quite remember. And I just know she'll be trying to piece it together. And I thought, you know what? Getting home safe with no hangover for me is overriding being the fun one at a party now. I don't need to be the last one there. I don't need to be the one that everyone says, oh my God, she can keep up with the lads drinking. And I think it's a good thing, but it is weird when these shifts start to happen in your life. I don't know if it's getting older or what, but yeah, when you realise that like things are changing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still had probably 5 drinks. I mixed wine, I mixed margarita. We went to the Ned and I ordered a sausage roll because apparently I love a sausage roll after a drink. And I sat down in Millie's lounge in the Ned, and everyone ordered dinner and meals, and I was like, I just fancy the sausage roll, and I am who I am, and I'm going to order it, and I don't care. Girl next to me ordered lobster. I was like, you do you, and I respect it, but I will be having a sausage roll. So don't get me wrong, and I wasn't the first to go home, and I still like a good time, but yeah, it just felt very transformative to me. Have you guys been through something similar where you feel like you're leaving behind an old part of you? Maybe I'll put it on Instagram or come and message me and let me know. I just think it's really interesting to scope out. But even this morning, I went for a run in the rain. It was raining this morning. I was like, I just gotta go for a run. I woke up, I didn't have a hangover or anything. I was like, I've got to go. I've got to get these endorphins in. And look, I have ran in the rain before, but not for a long time. So yeah, I think it feels good. It's just a little bit different. Right, let's go straight into this week's story. I'd been with a guy for 11 years. 5 years in, I found out he'd been seeing 2 women behind my back for around 3 years. So hang on. So let's forget the 11 years for now. She was with somebody, and 5 years in, she'd found out that he was having an affair for 3 years. So essentially, she's 5 years in, but the relationship was only 2 years, and then 3 years of that is lies. Wow, that's a big shock to the system. One being his ex, and the other was a supposed friend of mine. Oh, God. I just don't understand why people have affairs with their exes. I truly, truly don't, because if you're not over your ex, either deal with her or get back with them. Don't get with somebody else and then have an affair with your ex. I just don't understand that. I don't see the point of it. I don't see the point even of hurting the ex again, because it's like, if my ex broke up with me and then wanted to rekindle a flame and said, oh, but I am seeing somebody, I'd be like, no. Like, we've already broken up once and gone through the trauma, and now you want me back as your side chick. It just doesn't make sense all round me. And the fact that he was also having an affair with somebody else as well, the mind boggles. And also, who has time for 3 women? Who has time for 3 relationships? Like, 1 is hard enough. 3 on the go, I just can't imagine it. I mean, 3 dicks, wherever, we can work with that. But the 3 affairs? I'm joking. But come on, 3 people. I can only assume that the 2 side chicks must have known that they were side chicks, like they must have, because otherwise they'd be wanting more time, wouldn't they? Like, they must have known that they were side chicks, because they could never have had the same level of time as the main girlfriend. I can only assume. Anyway, sorry. So she'd been with him 11 years in total. 5 years in, found out that he was seeing his ex and another girl behind her back. We broke up, but I forgave him and we got back together. About 1.5 years later, he proposed. However, 6 months after that, he randomly came home and told me, I don't love you anymore. And we broke up again. Okay, firstly, I'm going to say, right, I'm always understanding of a phase, all these things. You can forgive somebody, people can change. I get it, I support it, I understand it. But the fact that he'd been having an affair for 3 years, and then, she doesn't go into detail, she just said we broke up, I forgave and we got back together. You really have to ask what's changed during that breakup, because I think that's key, that if you get back with an ex under any circumstance, you have to make sure that wherever issues that, like basically why you broke up, wherever those issues were, you have to make sure that those issues are resolved. And for those issues to be resolved, you need to have done some work on them. This guy clearly hasn't done any work, because he's proposed to her, which is probably like plaster, what's the saying, band-aid. I think the saying is American, but it's the same thing, like a plaster over a cut. That's definitely not the saying, but you know what I mean. Like, he's obviously just thinking that's going to be the answer, but ultimately, he doesn't want to marry her. He probably doesn't even want to be with her, because he was seeing 2 other women behind her back for 3 years of their relationship. So what is he doing even getting back with her? Like, I can understand from her side, because she's like, obviously she loves him and she's heartbroken maybe, but like, what is he doing? Well, what is the point of any of it? So 6 months later then, he says he don't love you anymore. I mean, obviously. We broke up again. 6 weeks later, we are back together, and I walk into the house and hear him end a phone call with "love you." I flipped out and thought to myself, you are not doing this again to me. I snatched the phone and rang the last number, Wayne, back, and a woman picked up. She tells me she's his girlfriend of 1.5 years. I thought the world of him and truly loved him with every fibre of my soul, and I was taken from mug all the way. I have finally put my foot down and left him for good. I mean, hun, I really hope you have, because as I said, I'm understanding for people wanting to change, but come on, this is a joke. So I have to get the timing of this. He's had a girlfriend for 1.5 years, which is basically the whole time that they've been back together. So he got back with her, must have started seeing this other woman, probably felt a little bit guilty somewhere along the line, proposed to his missus, and I thought, I actually can't do this because I'm seeing somebody else and I've got a full girlfriend. It just makes no sense to me. And I'm very, very sorry. Like, obviously I'm reading this being like, oh my God, walk away. But I think like what she says there, that she thought the world of him, she truly loved him. I think it's such a shit situation. And obviously like he's telling her that he would never do it again and that he loves her and stuff. And it's so hard, isn't it? Because when you hear that from somebody you love, you want to be really understanding of them. And obviously you believe them. But sometimes you just got to go with the facts. And the facts here are, he's a compulsive liar. He's a compulsive liar. He's got no issues in lying. Like, he's fully in love, in inverted commas, in love with somebody else behind your back. And he's got no issues with lying to you about it. So somebody like that will never be happy and will probably die alone. Because why? Also, why do you need two girlfriends? That's what I can't understand. See, for me, my image of an affair is something that lasts like no longer than 3 months and then it blows up, like because it gets serious and then because it comes like some boiling point. I can't understand that. I can't even imagine having an affair for 3 months forever, but having a full-on relationship for like 1.5 years, 3 years, that to me is giving psycho. It's giving psycho killer. It's giving Jeffrey Dahmer. Because how can you keep a lie and 2 lives that whole time? I just could not do it. It would be all over my face. I would walk in and they would be like, where have you been? I'd be like, I reckon I could say the lie, but I just think it would come out of my body. Do you know what I mean? I reckon I could go in like with a script being like, oh, I went out last night, but I'd just be thinking the whole time, don't look at me, don't ask me any more questions because I've got this script, and if I go off track a tiny bit, I'm going to be rumbled. It would be like I had a target on my back. I just couldn't relax. My anxiety could never. Which, by the way, my anxiety's down this week, guys, as well. It has actually been a transformative week, but still, I feel like if I was on an affair for 2 years, how is this man not crippled with anxiety? This is what I mean by he's got to be a psychopath. Got to be. I would actually love to hear if you guys have got any stories about lying, or like when you found out somebody lied, even if it's about something simple, or when you've tried to lie about something and you haven't been able to. Because I do think it's funny how some people can do it and some people just can't. No, my mother's the worst at it for surprises. Like, I love surprises to my core. Like, I don't even like to know anything. I'm the type of person that even when I was a child and I was starting to know that Santa wasn't real, I remember, like, you kind of knew where the presents were, but I would still be in denial, even as a child, and be like, I'm not sneaking, I'm not snooping, because I want the surprise on Christmas morning. And I remember before being out, this is actually childish of me, I think I was like 19, I was with my partner at the time, and we were in a shop and my birthday was coming up, and we were in a shop together, and he'd picked up, like, on the sly, this helium balloon, but I'd seen it. Ruined it for me. I mean, I think I was young, I probably asked, like, a little bit of a spoiled brat, but I was like, why would you do that in front of me? I've seen it now. Like, I used to take it really far because I just love surprises and I love giving them as well. Like, I'm the type of person, I'll keep something quiet. A surprise is a lie I can keep very, very easily. I will say that, because I'd rather just keep quiet because I just think, oh my God, it's going to be so worth it when you see the surprise. My mother is the worst for it though. Like, so she knows I love them, but she just cannot keep it to herself because she's too excited. Cannot. Do you know, I heard a story this week about this girl that had been single for years, and her mother was always having a go at her, saying, well, you can't moan that you're single if you're just sitting in the house. You've got to get out of the house. Nobody's just going to come and knock on your front door and change your life. You've got to put yourself out there. And she said she was listening to it like, yeah, I know, I don't really like being single, but who can be bothered for date naps and all the rest of it. So anyway, she decides to move out to her mother's house, finds a place, 2-bed, and she's looking for somebody to fill the room. So she's advertising on Spare Room to find a girl, because obviously she didn't want to live with a boy. So she's advertising, she meets a couple of people, none of them's right. And then this guy messages her and says, look, I know you're only advertising for girls, but I really like this place. Can we meet up? I promise I'm not a weirdo. You know, just see what you think. So anyway, she said she met up with him and just instantly felt quite safe with him and thought he was a really nice guy, he was funny, and she said, this isn't really what I wanted, but actually I trust you and I think it could work. So the guy moves in, and she said they kind of start a weird kind of at-home relationship. So he's like, oh, I'll do the gardening, I'll sort this out. And she's like, okay, well, I'll cook us dinner. And they start having meals together and they start watching TV, and she realised they got on really well. And then one night she thought, right, I don't want to feel like I'm keeping on at him all the time, and he needs to have his space, obviously. So I went to my room, and she said she's just, you know, chilling out wherever, watching TV. And he comes and he knocks the door and he's like, hi, I was just wondering if you wanted some ice cream, I could go and get us some. And she's like, okay, yeah, she does want my company as well then. So she said, yeah, okay. So they start talking again. Anyway, long story short, they end up together. So she basically moved into an apartment and is now living with her boyfriend. Like, they immediately started living together. And she said to her mother, like, you always said no one's going to come knocking on your door, but pretty much that is what happened. How good is that? I just think that's such proof of people coming into your life when you least expect it, which sounds so cliche, but it is true, I think. I think as long as you've got the right attitude for it and you're always open to it, then stuff like that, I just think that's really funny. I saw that on TikTok, which, by the way, TikTok is going mad for the missing Kate Middleton. I saw today they officially released a photo of her. But I'm like, is there a coincidence that all these pictures of Kate Middleton are now coming out when all the crazy conspiracy theories were coming? Because she was very, very quiet for the last 3 months. And then all of a sudden, people were starting saying she got a BBL done. She's had some intense surgery. She's in rehab for an eating disorder. Now that all these things have come out, all of a sudden we've had boom, boom, 2 pictures of her. I still think something fishy's going on. I do think and believe the story that Prince William has got like a mistress, which actually, if that is true, turns me sick to my stomach. Because firstly, Kate Middleton is lovely. Secondly, they've been together since they were in uni. She was a normal-ish person, I think, and he's roped her into this life, and she's basically like given up her life, haven't she, her freedom and stuff. I mean, I know she has it good, but I think is, I say she has it good, right? Because obviously you think, oh, if you're royal, yeah, amazing, but not really. She has completely lost her freedom. She cannot do anything by herself. So, yeah, she's got money and security and all the rest of it, but the pressure on her must be insane. I actually wouldn't like it. Would I turn Prince Harry down? Gun to my head? No, probably not. But I can see where Meghan Markle's coming from, because who wants to live their life like that, so formally all the time, and just no freedom, I think, is the main thing. Like, she can't do anything. So I've gone so off track, I've forgotten the point of what I was saying. I really can't remember, but anyway, she's missing, and I don't know what the reason was. Abdominal surgery? I don't know. I think something fishy is going on. Will we ever find out? Probably not. But I do pray the Prince William affair thing isn't true. Mainly, my main reason for that is Diana, the people's princess. Do not repeat your father's steps, you know? So yeah, hopefully Kate Middleton is okay. She seems okay. But yeah, TikTok was going mad for it, actually. But I've started to really filter out what I'm seeing on TikTok, because obviously it's an app where you can, it basically listens to you. So wherever you watch, it's just going to show you more of, isn't it? So I've started to consciously filter out stuff I don't want to see, which sounds obvious, but it's not really, because sometimes you can still get roped into something you don't necessarily want to see. I have now landed on Hopecore TikTok, and all it is just positive videos, but all of them make me cry. I'm crying almost every time I go on there, but they're happy tears. But they're just like super lovely ones. Like, there was one the other day, and the mother was really angry at the boy. And she was like, well, you've ordered something to the house, they're American. You've ordered something. And he's like, no, I haven't. And she's like, well, open it. It's got your name on it. And I don't know what you're ordering off my card. And he opens it, and it's an iPhone. And he's like, gets really emotional and hugs her. And I'm watching it like, oh my God, crying at this 9-year-old getting an iPhone in the post. Like, why? I don't know, but it is really nice. I do recommend, if you see a Hopecore video, stay on there, because they are lovely. Okay, I also saw this thread, and I thought that I could ask you guys for some positive stories, because we've had positive stories now the last couple of weeks. And I know a couple of you messaged me as well saying like it was such a nice episode. And I think sometimes we do need the hopeful stories. We need a bit of Hopecore on Love What Luck sometimes, don't we? So I thought I would put this in, and then if you've got any nice stories then, or help for this girl, then send them my way. The address is sadie@lovewhatluck.com, or just DM me. All the links are in the show notes. Okay, she says, hi. I really hate admitting this, because all my life I've seen myself as a positive, independent woman, but now still being single at 31 makes me depressed. Not because I think, oh my God, I want kids and time is running out. More because I've really put myself out there, and I seem to be the only one left who still isn't even close to being in a relationship. And I feel pretty lonely sometimes, even though I have friends. When I was 22, I met my ex-boyfriend. I thought he was the love of my life. We seemed perfect together. We moved in together, and on my 27th birthday, he proposed. I was over the moon. Long story short, he wasn't who I thought he was, as just weeks after the proposal, I found out that he has been cheating on me with several girls. Some were one-night stands, 2 were affairs over months. I left him heartbroken. I went through therapy to get over it, and I felt better. I mean, sorry, once again, why are these people proposing? I just cannot imagine having an affair with somebody and proposing to my partner. I just don't understand it. Do they think I've treated this person so badly I'm going to have to propose to make things right? Do they think when I get engaged, when we get married, I'm going to stop having the affairs and that's the only thing that's going to put an end to it? What is the reason? Because I just cannot fathom why you'd get down on your knee and ask somebody to spend the rest of your life with them when when you're having an affair. I just don't understand, because when you're having an affair, you're not in a good headspace, are you? Like, you're obviously not feeling good about yourself. You're not feeling good about your partner. Like, you're not feeling good about life, I would assume and hope. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's what like a normal person having an affair would do. But a psychopath apparently proposes. Mental. Right, sorry. She says, at 28, I started dating again, and I have since. It's been 3 years now, and I haven't even been close to being in a relationship again. I have tried everything. Dating apps, hobbies, mutual friends, bars. My experience. Dating apps. I've probably been on 50 Tinder or Bumble dates within 3 years. Some were bad, some were good. I did meet a few guys I really liked and went on more dates with, but in the end, it was always the same. Mutual friends. There were guys interested in going on a date with me, but I wasn't interested in any of them, even though I gave one of them a chance. I just couldn't change my mind. Fair enough. And I know people say love grows, but sometimes I just think, if you've given a date to somebody, 2 dates, and it's not working, sometimes I just think, when you know, and I think that works both ways. I'm sorry. I know there's people out there that's like, I didn't like my partner when I first met him, and I know people say, like, you've got to keep going, but I get it if you're a bit unsure, but if you have a bad, like, gut feeling of, like, this is never going to work, then I disagree with wasting time, but I don't know. I'm sure there's people out there that's like, well, even on films now when they meet and they, like, hate the other person and then they end up together. So maybe I'm too harsh, actually. Maybe that has changed my mind. I think 3 dates. Give 3 dates to somebody. But the thing is, I've got experience of this. I've got experience of meeting somebody, immediately thinking no, but then like they had such a good personality and made me laugh, and I thought, oh my God, no, I have to give this person a chance. And then gave the person a chance and then ended up being with them. But ultimately in my gut was always the kind of initial feeling of no. So I am talking from my personal experience, that for me it's like if I have a gut feeling, I think mostly I will follow it, whether that takes me down the right path, down the wrong path. Usually I follow it because I think, who knows you better than your gut? Your gut is linked to your brain. It's that feeling you get with something or somebody, and I do listen to it quite a lot because your brain can sometimes lie to you, but I think your body just knows. That's like the other thing when people say, how do you know you found the one? And they say that they felt very safe and calm. That's a feeling in your body that you get with somebody, that you just feel completely relaxed and you can fall asleep in front of them and like all these things. That's because your body knows. Like, I think your body knows stuff before your mind lots of times. Okay, sorry. And then the last experience of bars, she said, I met guys, either I wasn't interested in who I was, but it just fizzled out before we could even go on a date, or they were just interested in sex. So that's her experience. And she says, trust me when I say I'm not looking for F-boys. That's not my problem. I don't right swipe on the pretty boys with mirror selfies or keep chasing guys who are clearly not interested in me. I am picky, yes. I want someone I find attractive, who is educated, who is funny, and who I just click with. Fair, the bare minimum. I mean, education, obviously that's up to the individual, but you need somebody you find attractive and you need somebody you click with, obviously. She says, I'm definitely an attractive woman. I have a pretty face, long hair, and work out a lot. I'm educated, have hobbies, and make my own money. So I have enough guys interested, but it just never works out with the ones I want. I don't understand how easy it is for some people to go on Bumble, match with someone, meet them, and fall in love. It just makes me sad to think that I might be single forever, or that I will have to settle for someone I'm not really into. In my circle of friends, I'm the only single one left. Some are married already. Now, this I think is more telling than, as she says, like being 31 and single. I think you feel it a lot more, and I've actually read about this, that if your friends are in a certain part of their life, not even just relationships, but if they've got certain jobs, if they're earning a certain amount of money, if they're at a different stage of their career, if they live in different situations. So like if you were in a flat share somewhere and your friends just bought a house, you will feel so much worse on yourself than you would probably if that friend wasn't in your life, because you're doing a direct comparison. So that to me is more telling on why she feels shit than the age, because being 31 and single is completely fine. Like 31 is young. I see no issues with that, especially because she said she's not worried about having kids, and even 31 of kids is like fine. People have kids up until they're 40, wherever. So for me, I think it's the friends, definitely. Like, imagine all your friends around you being married or engaged and you were single. You're going to feel even more single, whereas if all your friends were single, you wouldn't be thinking about it because you'd all be in the same situation, for sure. I never really believed in fate, but these days I sometimes think that maybe having a happy relationship isn't in the cards for me, that my cheating ex was my only chance of love and it didn't work out. I know those thoughts are stupid, but I can't help it, because literally every single time I'm interested in someone, something happens. It's like I'm jinxed. And no, I'm not running around sad all the time because of that. I live a happy, healthy life and I'm grateful for my friends. I often travel alone and I have fun. The thought of being alone forever just really depresses me. I guess what I'm wanting from this thread is to hear your experiences. Do you have anything uplifting, or maybe anyone in the same situation? Would be nice to not feel like the only one. So please, guys, if you've got any single stories or anything relating, if you felt like this before, please send them in to me, and we can read them out, because I feel like so many people feel like this when they're single. But like, as an outsider, I'm reading it and I'm like, the fact you think you're going to be single forever because you haven't met somebody in 3 years is wild. 3 years versus forever your life is nothing. Like, there's literally no comparison. And also, I do think that when you eventually meet somebody, that time doesn't matter, as long as you've enjoyed the time when you're single, which she sounds like she is, but also she's thinking that it's sad. So you can't fully be enjoying yourself, I don't think, if you've also got on your mind, it's tragic that I'm single. I think the key is like really, really enjoying your time by yourself when you're single, so that you don't feel like it's a waste or it's sad. And then when you do meet somebody, it won't matter that oh my God, I've been 5 years without you, because you found them now. And then when you've got them forever, hopefully. I mean, that's kind of the whole point. So, you know, sometimes I think, I've told you this story before on one episode, when I thought I'd found the one at 25. I remember having the thought in my head thinking, oh, well, I'm a little bit disappointed for finding him so soon, because my life's going to be different now. And thank God he wasn't the one. And I know some people do find the one at 25, but for me, I was glad I didn't, because I had my best times of my life at 25. And if I'd found a boyfriend, it would have been a little bit different, you know? Maybe I wouldn't have lived with my friends. Like, I don't know, it would have taken me on a different path. So I think my message for that is you've really just got to enjoy the time by yourself. And everyone will always meet somebody. It's just a case of timing, as long as you've got the right mindset. Because I'm big into mindsets, as you know, and mind shifts. And I think if you're always telling yourself it's tragic that you're alone and you're going to be single forever, then that's probably what you're going to keep feeling. Whereas if you start thinking, I'm so happy in my life and I'm so grateful for this time, if somebody comes into it, great. If somebody doesn't, then they won't. Then that's probably the time that somebody will come in. And I actually did look at the thread going down, and a few people did say that. They said like that you really need to let it go, and like a few people said that that's what happened to them, and then they met somebody. But somebody else wrote in, which I thought I would read out, saying, I could have written what you just wrote almost word for word, except I am 10 years older and still single. I am just out of a 2-year relationship where, if I am honest with myself, I settled because I came to the conclusion there has to be what other people do, right? Because otherwise, how do relationships even happen? Don't be me, it was not worth it. That's really my only words of wisdom. I still don't know how long-term in love, fully committed relationships happen, so I've decided to just be an international woman of mystery who takes a series of lovers. We don't have to meet each other's families, I can keep my own space, and I will try to have no expectations beyond if it's working in the moment. Sorry I can't be more helpful or uplifting. But I think that is uplifting, because it's basically saying that she regrets that 2-year relationship because it was with somebody she didn't like. So it's basically saying that no matter how tragic you're feeling right now for being single, it's better to be single than to be with somebody that you're not into. And I think that's the key message, is that some people might settle, but ultimately it's not going to make you happy. And guys, I have to tell you, right, this week I was chatting to somebody and the worst possible thing happened. I was chatting to this guy and as we're conversing, a little droplet of spit from his mouth lands right here in the middle of my bottom lip. And it was the worst thing because immediately I'm like, has he seen what's happened? Because if he's seen what's happened, I can't let him know that I know. Even though I obviously know because it's on my lip and I felt it. So firstly, I'm looking in his eyes. I'm trying to scope out if he's embarrassed. Has he noticed that he's just put his mouth liquid on my mouth? He didn't seem to have a reaction, which made me think he was unaware. So I thought that's a good sign. He obviously can't see it on my lip, which was my second thought. Can he or anybody else in this conversation see this spit droplet on my lip? Because if they can, that's another issue, because then it's a thing of, oh my God, he's seen it on me, he wants to know how long I'm going to keep it on for, and then it's like as soon as I do it, he knows, and it is too much going on. So I thought if he can't see it, that means the group probably haven't seen it. So I was just stood there waiting for my moment, because I thought if I do it straight away, then it's obvious. And for some reason, as much pain as this man is putting me through right now mentally, I don't want him to know, and I don't want to inflict any embarrassment upon him. So I just stood there for what felt like 15 minutes. It honestly felt like an eternity. Real time, probably 3. And then as soon as I got my moment, I thought, I don't know exactly where it is, but it has to be a very subtle rub. So I literally just went like this. Like before I grab my drink. Not like, I know you do that. Because I thought I can't put my straw on it straight away, because then I might drink it, which is even worse for me, obviously. So anyway, luckily I managed to do this, and I managed to get it off, I think, without anyone noticing. But oh my God, is there a worse thing? Thank God we're out of COVID, touch wood, because pre-COVID or during COVID, that would have sent me into a spin. But oh my God, there's nothing worse, is it? And I feel like it happens, it's such a common issue, but it's something that nobody wants to talk about because it's so embarrassing for all parties. Like, I was just as embarrassed as he would have been if he'd known, for sure. But thankfully, I think I got away with it. Okay, I've got a funny story to end. This just popped into my head about an hour ago, and I haven't stopped laughing since. I was dating a guy, and I told him to look at some pictures on my phone of something, maybe a house or my dog, who knows. Anyway, he's scrolling through the pictures and suddenly throws my phone on the couch and says, oh my God, I'm so sorry I went too far. I saw a picture of your boob. I barely looked. Which, can I just say, firstly, always giving my phone to somebody. I could never hand over my phone freely to somebody. If I'm showing a photo to somebody, I'd be like, I'm going to hold my phone and you can see this one singular picture and I'm having control of it, because that is so risky. I can't even believe she did it. Anyway, she said, we hadn't gotten to the clothing optional part of the relationship yet. I looked at him confused because I don't have pictures like that on my phone. Lucky for her, she's a good girl. So I pick up my phone to see what he's talking about. Apparently, he saw a picture of a wound on my middle toe from a medical procedure I had had. At a passing glance, it vaguely resembled a boob and a nipple. He must have really been trying to be a gentleman and not looked. I told him what it was, and he was so embarrassed because I was laughing hysterically. Next time I saw him, I had to tell him that I told my friends because they all thought it was hilarious too. He was slightly embarrassed, but I still couldn't help but laugh. I would genuinely, you know me, I would be more embarrassed at the fact he'd seen a picture of my wound on my toe than my nipple. Like, if I had a picture of a wound on my middle toe on my phone and I had to say that to a guy after him just seeing it, that would be far worse for me than if it was my boob. If it was my boob and nipple, I'd be like, mate, don't apologise, lucky you. Like, it's your lucky day, congrats, you've seen it a little bit earlier, you've seen a preview. Seen a preview before the main event, and God bless you for that. My toes are kept under wraps for people in relationships with me only, for close confidants and friends and partners and people whom I love. If they had to see that sooner, that would send me into a tailspin. I actually think that would be worse for me, which probably says a lot more about me. It probably does mean I've got issues. I wonder if something happened to me in a past life with my feet, because I have got major issues with them and I have no idea why. Like, it's actually a joke. But Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Please remember to subscribe, follow. Please send me in your stories anything that I've mentioned this week. If it relates to you even a tiny bit, then send your story in. I know it helps other people and it's good for us all to chat. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and please share the episode if you like it and come and let me know your thoughts. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you next week.